Howdy Spices, we're gonna be playing Grizzly Man.
I'm just gonna jump right in from the previous save. Thankfully, I save a lot, so I have exactly ready to go. I'll have to voice act again. Robert, I'm just gonna do regular voices for all of them. Wait a second. You slow your pace and notice Johan's impatient gesture. Johan doesn't seem to tolerate the documentary filmmaker too much. You know Johan is a painter. I wish there was music. Is there music? Or is my mic just too low? Oh, and you wonder if it's a matter of chemistry. That might be too loud. And you wonder if it's a matter of chemistry. Or if it has to do with Hannah's need to mediate every experience through the lens of her camera. That's it. What do you think? I'm gonna say the helmet is ingenious because we're gonna be nice. We're not gonna be mean to Hannah. All right, we're good boys. Rob, I don't know why I said his name. I guess I could. Rob, does it actually work? Hannah smiles. Hannah, the design is mine and a friend's. We maximize the space. I don't know if you've seen other helmets. They're usually bulkier. I should also probably turn my captions on. They're usually bulkier. Can you imagine if we wore helmets like this at one of the uni parties? Leo burst out laughing and punches Ethan in the shoulder. Rob, watch where you step. I want to show you something. How many times have you made this same journey? Have you witnessed other migrations in the time you don't remember? You notice the sky suddenly darken and think of Jamie, your father. If Jamie were here, he'd remind you of the pathetic fallacy, that literary device where the weather seems to react, reflecting what's happening inside the character. Jamie always talked about his books. What else could a widowed man over 65 do in Alaska, besides read and drink? Damn. Poor your father, whose name I already forgot. You shake your head to push away certain images, and think that if there's any truth to the Dawn... Oh, Dawn. I thought that said Dawn. And think that if there's any truth to the damn pathetic fallacy, the cloud should clear with that gesture. Oh, he's like, I got a good spirit. So if that's true, the clouds will be gone in no time. And I respect that, Rob. I still think you are the Grizzly Man at this point. But that can all change. I'm not too set on it. I could be persuaded otherwise, but for right now, you're my suspect number 2 for the Grizzly Man. So suspect number 1 is the Grizzly Man as a whole separate person that we haven't met. Hannah, Johan, Ethan, and Leo approach the cliff's edge. They spot 4 grizzly bears waiting in the river. The summer migration is a key event for grizzlies. They need plenty of fat to hibernate and survive the winter. Okay, why did y'all separate that? Salmon is a rich source of energy. See, okay, sorry. Is that the same bear that the Grizzly Man wears over his head because of the scar? Is that why they're zooming in on the scar? Because I think the Grizzly Man has a bear over his head that has a scar on its nose, but I could be tripping because I didn't look at him too hard. You know what I'm saying? I didn't need to say that. I didn't look at him too hard because he's scary. I didn't need to examine him to be like, oh, there's a scar on his left. I didn't need to look at them that hard. A high fat food. See, why'd you separate that? Especially this is why I think you're the Grizzly Man, Rob. Roberto, maybe. Because it's Latin. It's in Latin America. It's set in Alaska, but it's made by Latin American people, so maybe it's Roberto. That's racist. I'm gonna cut that out. Robert, please. You look highly suspicious, brother. You look highly suspicious. You look like fucking Lex Luthor. Especially the females who carry the eggs. The river's position is crucial. The strongest males claim the best locations. Okay, a little grizzly bear lore. Where the salmon are easiest to catch, the younger bears and females with cubs are pushed to less favorable areas. Right. It's a constant battle to secure the top spot. A roar shakes the Alaskan sky. Anyone can mistake it for thunder from the approaching. Anyone can mistake it for thunder from the approaching storm. Let's actually pause. Anyone can mistake it for thunder from the approaching storm, but the earth-shaking sound comes from one of the oldest bears in the area, preparing to defend its spot in the river. The fight lasts only a few seconds, but that doesn't make it any less brutal. The oldest bear retreats, defeated. Is there no music again? What happens next? You know, most of them manage to adapt. They find a new spot to fish. But what about the few that don't make it? What other choice do they have? Did you know that when bears fight, they exert so much force that they end up shitting themselves? Johan burst into laughter with Leo and Hannah joining in, barely able to hold it together. Yeah, that was like perfectly timed. Even though Ethan admits it was a good one, he's still surprised by the group's reaction. Could there be more to the laughter? No, I think it was just perfectly timed. Like it was a perfect anecdote. Could there be more to that laughter? I mean, there's also a little bit of nervousness in there. Hold on. Getting ahead of yourself. Than just a reaction to a well-timed comment. Unaware of what's happening with the group. You can't... First of all, are those eyes? Or is that just like, trees? Like opening in the trees. This one is particularly suspicious. I know that that's probably too far away for human eyes, but Yatu Sabe. You can't help but wonder who the glasses you found earlier among the river stones belong to. A chill runs down your spine. Will you ever know what attacked you in the woods all those years ago? No matter how hard you try, you have no memory before Jimmy found you. Robert? Are you okay? You force a smile. Come on. We're close to the shelter. Okay. We love Robert. He a little creepy. Chapter 4. The fire brings two simultaneous and contradictory sensations. I'm not gonna get any achievements for the next 30 minutes, guys, because I already got them. The first sense is a sense of safety. That's why I didn't laugh as hard at the joke the first time, because I laughed way harder in the first one, I think. The beasts stay away from the flames. In the chill of the night feels absurd when wrapped in the fire's warmth. The second sensation is more complicated. Beyond the circle of light cast by the fire, it feels like nothing exists. But within it, the presence of the others become almost unbearable. It's not their stories about the past that bother you. It's your inability to share your own. See, look at this. This is the eyes of the Grizzly Man. This is the eyes of the Grizzly Man. The Grizzly Man. The eyes of the Grizzly Man. After your father's death. Okay, well, I'm so sorry. I just accused you of this before you told us your tragic villain backstory. After your father's death, it took you forever to return to his house. The idea of sorting through his belongings paralyzed you. Maybe losing your memory made new memories feel heavier. You left the chest for last. You always thought you'd find something embarrassing, maybe a photo or some questionable erotic pulp novel. How you would have laughed if you had hidden something like that. But no, you found none of it. Inside was a letter addressed to you, and alongside it, a white shirt and a black suit. In the letter, your father described the morning 12 years ago when he found you in the woods. The night before, he dreamed of Amelia, his wife. She had been gone for years. In the dream, Amelia stood in a clearing in the woods, trying to soothe the crying child in her arms. When Jamie woke up, he had a coffee with a splash of whiskey and set off walking. He knew exactly where he was headed. He reached the clearing and found you. Oh my God. Your head resting in a pool of blood. Okay, so I'm confused. Can we go back? Is there a way to go? Is there a back button? What does? Okay, there we go. Okay, let's go. Okay. How you would have laughed if you had hidden something? I know you found one of it. It's how okay, but how old was he? I guess we don't know yet. Your head resting in a pool of blood. Jamie rushed to you and found you. Jamie rushed to you and found you still had a pulse. So he carried you back to the cabin and cared for you. See, this is what I'm confused about. How old was the child? Was he in a suit and tie? At 6 years old, 12, 13, 17, 5, 3, a baby? What he never told you was that on that morning you were dressed entirely in black. An adult? Let me read it again. L is for log. Okay, I guess we still don't know how old he was. You were dressed entirely in black. A dark suit and a white shirt. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're a baby, who put you in that? A dark suit and a white shirt. He kept it from you because everyone in town knew the stories about men in black. You didn't respond for a month. When you finally recovered, you couldn't remember anything. Not even your name. Jamie called you Robert. The name he and Amelia had chosen back when they still believed they'd have a child. But Amelia had fallen ill when she was young, and they had to remove her uterus. That's tragic. That's fucking tragic. Later, they considered adoption, but time passed. Amelia died, and Jamie was left alone. This is literally heartbreaking. They would never have a child, or so he thought, until the dream where his late wife showed him the crying baby in the clearing. Because it was a baby. But it was a baby in a suit and tie? The letter ended with Jamie apologizing to you. In the dream, the baby was crying. In the dream, the baby was crying. And no matter how hard Amelia tried, she couldn't calm it down. Did I do the right thing, son? Or would you have preferred something else? The question echoes in your head. Would you have preferred something else? The fire crackles and your eyes start to water. You take advantage of the others looking at Ethan to quickly wipe your eyes. Want to hear a scary story? You force a smile and answer almost without thinking. All yours, Ethan. You're thankful for the college student in the group. You'd rather hear any story than have them start sharing personal details of their lives. The one about the frogs. Leo points at his friend over and over. Ethan's going to be a bestseller, mark my words. Ethan waves Leo off and settles into his spot. This is the story of St. Thomas, the town that sucked down 10,000-year-old toads. Okay, pause. The town that sucked down 10,000-year-old toads. The young writer pauses. He knows the title's solid, and he smiles as he notices the group waiting for him to continue. 8 out of 10 people worked in the coal mine. The rest worked at the bar or in the fields or at the police station. St. Thomas had 1 teacher and 2 nurses, no religious representatives, and the 3 mine discoverers made all the decisions for the town. Beto, Chico, and Ruben. The coal mines had turned these 3 young pioneers into millionaires. After 15 years, St. Thomas had a population of 133. After 15 years, St. Thomas had the population of almost 133 and one of the highest per capita incomes in the country. Chico organized the work at the mine. When they came across a hard wall in one of the mine veins, Chico was the one who set the charges and detonated them. When they came across a hard wall in one of the mine veins, Chico was the one who set the charges and detonated them. What happened next would change the town's history forever. Keep listening to Ethan or stop listening to Ethan. I mean, you guys haven't heard this story before, so I'm gonna let you guys hear it, because it's worth the listen. It's worth the listen. After the explosion, Chico went up to the hole left in the hard wall. Some fat, bumpy toads jumped out in all directions and started croaking. Chico screamed for an order and told them to catch the toads without hurting them. When he returned to meet Vito and Ruben, Chico had 23 toads in a big cardboard box. I don't even know if I'm in the camera. Chico told them what happened in the mine, and Vito said it couldn't be. That it was impossible for the toads to have survived all this time. Chico opened the box and let them see for themselves. First of all, this story is literally crazy because it reminds me of Ghost of Mars so far. Like, you go to a mine, there's some mysterious thing that's inside the mine that couldn't be there. Ruben had always been the most impulsive of the 3. He grabbed one of the toads and brought it close to his face. He looked at the colored bumps on its skin, and something seemed to take over him. The heaviest pause in gaming history, brother. The heaviest pause in gaming history. I don't even know if I can put this on the channel now. You know what I'm saying? Like, he sucked it and sucked and sucked. Ruben dropped the toad and put his hands on his head. He started naming all 133 people of St. Thomas in alphabetical order, and when he finished, he reached into the box and pulled out another toad. He sucked it and handed it to Vito. First of all, why would you suck it first and then pass it to me? You couldn't hand me a fresh one? Why would you lick a toad and then be like, here, lick this? Like, there's 23 toads in the box, nigga. You can't give me one of the other 21 you didn't lick on yet, nigga? Like, why would you give me a licked on toad? Chico grabbed Vito's arm and told him no. But Vito sucked it anyway. Chico tried to grab the toad from his hand, but Ruben appeared from behind and struck him in the neck with the butt of the revolver. Chico woke up, and several hours later, he didn't know where he was and slowly began to remember. In the streets, he noticed that almost everyone had a fat toad in their hand, sucking on it. Brother, you could write anything in the world. I just want you to know this. You could be writing anything in the world, and you're deciding to write a story about sucking on toads. Ancient toads. And Chico, the only one with sense. Chico, the only one is like, yeah, I don't think this is weird. Chico ran to the police station. The armory was open, but he didn't find anything. They already took the guns. They took the guns, probably melted them down for a toad house. A toad house. He tried to calm himself. He heard some screams coming from the bar and went to see what was happening. The whole town seemed to have gone mad. There was no other explanation. 132 people formed the train, heading to the east side of the mine. They all worked together in a visible enterprise while alternately sucking those ancient fat toads. Please, brother, for the love of God, use another word for sucking. Could you just say they're putting them in their mouths and they're like gnawing on them? Gnawing. While alternatively gnawing on these ancient fat toads. That would be better. Chico followed them because like sucking is just like making me want to laugh. Like I can't take the horror of it seriously. I mean, it probably look better in like a movie, right? But like written, I'm like, this is hilarious. Like this is comedy. You know what I mean? Chico followed them until they stopped. 5 stone idols formed a circle. The crowd began to crowd into the figure made by the idols. The idols shone in broad daylight, and 132 inhabitants of St. almost vanished in an instant. Chico managed to grab a fat toad that fell from a woman's hand as she disappeared. Alone and on edge, he started sucking the toad. Sucked and sucked. He collapsed to the ground. Am I even recording still? Okay. He collapsed to the ground, unable to hold his back. He collapsed to the ground, unable to hold back his tears. He kept sucking until nightfall and lost all touch with reality. Some of y'all can relate. The toad had stopped croaking a long time ago. A week later, a group of explorers found Chico's corpse clutching the toad with both hands. A fat toad whose eyes had popped out and its insides had spilled from its mouth. A fat toad whose eyes had popped out and its insides had spilled from its mouth. And you know what? The explorer's map didn't show any town called St. Olmos. It's so good. I don't know why I did it. I don't know why his accent switched. Ethan clasped his hands together as if praying and smiles. He's like, thank you. Oh, he's doing a thank you. I do this. You wonder what your father would think of the story. I believe that's what it said. Oh yeah, we can check. You wonder what your father would think of Ethan's story. Oh, word for word, bar for bar. Maybe Ethan's mistake is hanging out with people like Leo. People who praise everything he does. I've got other stories. Beavers that build a dam with bones from an old Indian cemetery. Is that just, Pet Cemetery? An old woman who calls miniature reproductions of the townspeople from the wood of the oldest trees in the taiga. See, that story sounds interesting. Like, do they come to life, kind of like us? Is it like us? That would be interesting. It's not like us. It's like the butterfly effect. And creates unexpected butterfly effects with every movement of a knife. Oh, so she's like the Sisters of Fate, and every time she carves something into the thing, it affects the real person. That's interesting. That would be a good story to tell. You should have told that story. Maybe that's a future game. Maybe these are future games. A goat whose bleat lures mountaineers and causes them to fall from the cliffs. Tell them about the siren thing. Is it Greek? Yes. Siren and goat share the same etymological origin in Greek. I've got several manuscripts in my backpack with the stories. That's enough. You're about to apologize and head to bed when you notice Hannah rummaging through her things. At a film festival, I met a young that's Hannah, sorry. At a film festival, I met a young filmmaker who makes horror movies. His name's not important. Hannah smiles slightly to the side. Ethan looks at Hannah with interest. The young student seems to have realized it's time to be quiet. You remember one of the things your dad used to say. A good storyteller knows when to listen. Who knows, you think? Maybe Ethan has a future as a writer. This filmmaker was obsessed with the type of solitaire that only sociopaths play. Do you want me to teach you? Yes, we're gonna listen to the solitaire, but I'm not gonna play it because I'm gonna play it because I love it so much. I'm not gonna read the instructions. I'm just gonna explain it to you, I think, really quickly. So basically, you have to... Damn, did I forget? So you have to match this number on the left by clicking on this meter when you think you're filling it up. So it has 50 cards, right? So like, there would be like 11. Like this would be 0. This would be using 50 cards. This would be like 25 cards, right? So then if you stop it here, it would be like 15, maybe something like that, right? And then for 5, it would go this way, I think, because it switches sides on you, I believe. Or I'm tweaking and I do it wrong. And then this side would be 0, and this side would be 50. And you have to get within like 3 of them, I believe. Like they give you a leeway. I think it's between 3. So if it's 11, you get to go to like 15, 14. I'm bad at math. If it's 11, you get to go to 14, or like if it's 5, you go to 8 and 2. Okay. Here. Okay, no, we did it wrong. We did it wrong. Start over. It's the other way. It's the other way. It's the other way. It's the other way. So left, 1 would be here. See, yeah. And then for right, 7 would be here. Close enough. Right. Now 11 would be like here. Ooh, so close. And then 19 would be like here. So close.
Where? The eggs. The eggs. Orange. Dirty. Daddy. Soft. How much? How much? How much? Dirty. Daddy. The river. Where? All salmon. Orange. Soft. All salmon. Okay. So we were inside. So are we gonna play as the Grizzly Man? Oh, I didn't get to look at his the bear on his head. Again. Keep forgetting about that. Okay, so we're playing as Johan. The art world has gone crazy. Critics talk about action painting. Jackson Pollock throws the canvas on the ground and paints whatever comes to him. Accident, gravity, the gesture. Don't they realize the guy never leaves his studio to paint? The first time I saw a painting by Johann Christian Dahl, I was 7. The painting was called Stormy Sea. How could you not be fascinated by something like that? The foam against the rocks, the boat battling the waves, the 2 people watching from the top of the cliff. But of course, Dahl cheats in this painting. He tells a story with all the elements in the scene. I'm in his camera. I'm in frame still. There's something artificial about the composition. There's something artificial about the composition. Could you imagine if I rap the whole thing? My favorite painting by Dahl is Norwegian mountain landscape. Okay. The curves of the mountain formations, the mist, the water. No human presence at all. Except for the one who painted it. Hold on. There's something, okay. He just looked scared in that clip, so I was confused. Maybe he was excited to see the waterfall? There's something about that fresh perspective that draws me in. Something outside of time. Painting in nature, in solitude. The waterfall got loud. Becoming one with the elements. And fading out on the other side of the brush, I like paintings with descriptive titles. Stormy Sea or Norwegian mountain landscape. Norwegian. Okay, red is an interesting choice right now. It's funny. Pollock even used numbers to name his works. That way, the title wouldn't influence any interpretation. Using a number as a title for a painting. Are they so afraid of figuration? Yes, I was just talking about this. I was just afraid that the audience won't see what they want when they paint. Or maybe they're afraid they can't paint what they see. Ooh, I never thought about it like that. You feel a certain lightness, as if suddenly the way you control your actions has changed. Oh, left, right, up, down to move. Sensor action button to paint, erase. Escape for more options. We're using the keyboard? Escape for more options. Instructions. Yes. Because what? The numbers on the left and top of the grid indicate groups of adjacent painted cells. For example, 1112 in a row means there are 4 groups of painted cells in that row. The first 3 groups have 1 cell each, and the 4th group has 2 cells. Okay, for example, where's 1112? I don't understand. Why is it doing that?
Who the fuck are you?
Oh, fuck. No, it has a tape over his eye, not over his nose. I know I saw an X on his face. I don't know what to do. The appearance leaves you stunned. Yeah, of course it would. What the fuck is this? You think about Bruno, Lil Jeffers' paintings. Another artist who left a mark on you. And you remember all those hairs he painted being attacked by different predators. One of the most recurrent themes in his work. A thought spiral was, oh, he's smiling. This is sick. No, it does have a little X on his face. See? A thought spiral was in your mind. If both the appearance and you were part of the subject of a painting. Oh my god. He's so scary! Who's on the other side of the canvas now? Generate central nervous system order. Run. Recognize threat. Run! Oh, we died. Your head stops spinning with your nose stuck between some rocks. What? Generate central nervous system order? Why would you need to generate an order from your central nervous system? You don't have time to answer that question. I'm supposed to recognize the threat? The first step is recognizing you're in danger. I knew that already. Oh my god. Now your brain can generate the order. Okay. And you run. You run as fast as you can. Yeah, I already did all of that. I already did all that, buddy. He had a scythe and a dead bear on the top of his head. We recognized the threat immediately. You leave the canvas behind. Yes. Oh my god, his teeth. And the distance separates the art from the artist. Oh, he's sick. What follows is a phenomenon you've experienced before. The painting condenses the action into a single image. Outside the painting, everything seems excessive. The singular becomes multiple, and the self an infinite echo of your past. Up. You can't just throw a fucking. I'm reading it, guys. Oh, okay. So
So we got to get it in that one little... So you didn't tell me that. I didn't even get to prepare myself for this before you told me what we were doing. If you could have, you know what I mean? If it could have said duck and then the thing popped up, I could have been able to know what I was doing. I would have, you know what I mean? The blow came dangerously close. But close to what? What's the limit of what you think you are? Is there more than one self? Okay, this is not the time to be existential, buddy. That self you believe you identify with? You think again about Lil Jeffers' hairs. Lil Jeffers? Were they all the same hair? Hairs about to die in the claws of a bird. Victims of a fox's bite. Oh my god. Sorry. Or maybe a poker, why not? The sound scared me, not the image, guys. I get very frightened easily from sounds. Run, attack. Run? You start running again. Yeah, because his knife is stuck. But this time, you don't get fought. What the I was supposed to attack him? With what? There's something timeless about the image of the hairs. Something that... okay, so my first instinct was to attack. And I should stuck with my instinct. Something that updates with every confrontation. He beat the fuck out of me. He looks like Ahsoka. Struggle. Check left pocket. Check left pocket. Check right pocket. Stab with pencil. Oh! I didn't have time! Check right pocket. Stab with pencil. Jump to cliff. Oh, we landed in the water. Okay. You finally think you understand what draws your attention to the hairs in LeJeffers' work. The repetition is an illusion, because what repeats itself can always be experienced as something new. Save art, please do. Oh, we saved them. We got him killed several times, but we saved him. None of you heard anything? What do you expect? What do you expect? After smoking that stuff you gave us. And the paranoia? That was because of what Ethan said about the disappearances. And what about playing Slash of Solitaire? I don't know. Oh, that's still him. Anyway, I slept like a log afterward. Your disappearance during the salmon migration. Can't deny that's a good hook. You think so? I already have a bias for my documentary. You think running rapids is more interesting than disappearances? Didn't you get anything I told you yesterday? And how do you expect me to understand? Your joint completely messed us up. I'm gonna do something in first person that's not been done before. Is novelty enough? Hey. Hey! He probably said like more like, hey. You decide to interrupt them. They've been talking too much already. You remember your father sitting in the rocking chair, a glass of whiskey in his hand and an open book in his lap, on his lap. Few writers manage to define secondary character with just a few lines of dialogue. It's nobody's fault Johann disappeared. What matters now is figuring out where he What matters now is figuring out where he went. You still can't understand it. How did the painter manage to get up and leave camp without waking you? The tracks are still fresh. It shouldn't be too hard to find them. Yeah, I was like, did he just... I thought that they got up and he like just stopped walking at some point and started painting. And it didn't show us. I didn't realize he got up in the middle of the night. Even though I was reading it. When you reach the cliff, you start to worry. You notice a second set of tracks and some almost said vibrations. You notice a second set of tracks and some variations in the depth of the disturbed earth. You scratch your head. Oh, if it weren't for the second set of tracks being human, you'd swear Johann was running from a predator. What the hell? What the hell? What the helly? What? Did you find something? You look at the mark on the tree trunk and try to piece the scene together. Oh, for fuck's sake. What is it, Ethan? Damn it. Why isn't anyone answering me? Will you chill out already? I just stepped in shit, that's all. You hear the roar in the sky and find yourself thinking about Jamie again, his father. Is your dad up there, following everything that's happening like he did when he read his books in the rocking chair? You always wonder why he read so much when all he did was complain about everything. Me talking about movies. You better head back to camp. It's nearly impossible to follow the trail now, and the rain's only gonna make it worse. But what about Johan? Something happened to him, didn't it? Let's go back to camp. Come on. Leo shrugs. Ethan doesn't waste any time before starting to walk. The sky looks like it's about to crash down on them as they jog back, trying not to trip on the way. The last thing you need is for someone to twist an ankle. Hannah? Did Johan come back? Hannah shakes her head. I thought he'd be with you. No, Robert called off the search. So now what, Robert? What's the plan, huh? You try to calm yourself down, but the weather isn't helping. You think back to the pathetic fallacy, how the clouds can't bear their burden any longer, and finally burst. You think I enjoy organizing these hikes? You think I like spending time with strangers out in the middle of nowhere? Do you want to know why I do it? Do you? Because my father, who wasn't really my... Because my father, who wasn't really my father, died and left me with debt so big that if I don't pay him, I'll regret it for the rest of my life. Oh, they start fighting. Who is this, Ethan? Ethan grabs Rob. Rob pushes him off and gives him a almost punch to the jaw, but he misses a little bit. Then he twists him around somehow, gets him on his back. Hold on, pause. You take a deep breath. That's why I do it. Who the hell do you think you are? You know about the disappearances? Are you okay, Ethan? Hannah looks at you, and it's hard to meet her gaze. You know you shouldn't have snapped. Ethan's right. Something's happening, and it has nothing to do with you. Where does that constant need to feel like the protagonist come from? Where are you going? Do I really need to spell it out? Ethan and Leo walk off a little. Their voices too low for you to hear. Why did you react like that with Ethan? You know you're mad at your father, that you gave anything to hug him again. Go find him. I told him to wait for the storm. Hold on. Go find him. I told him to wait for the storm to pass, but he went anyway. The scream chilled you to the bone. What the hell is that? Ethan! Oh, fuck. You guys, bye. Damn, he's strong as hell. What the fuck's going on? Leo, please. Do you want to I can let you go. I can let you go. Leo, brother, I'm trying to save your life. 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 See, and now you're missing this dialogue. Let me go. You try to pull Leo away from the scene. Look at me. Ethan is dead. Ethan is dead. There's nothing we can do. The creature in the body had vanished. Oh, what the fuck? What is he doing with the bodies? Is he eating them? In 1973. Okay, we're gonna end there. Yo, they got Ethan already? He just walked away. You first heard the name Grizzly Man in a bar in Fairbanks. Like so many other tales from this region, it was thought to be the invention of some bored drunks with too much time on their hands. After the Trans-Alaska pipeline system was finished, a lot of people were left jobless. Sure, disappearances happened, but there were plenty of explanations. Tourists who underestimated the dangers of Alaska's terrain, animal attacks, but nothing like this. The Grizzly Man felt like something ripped straight out of one of your father's books. It is. Books he claimed were full of mistakes, cliches, shallow character development that he still couldn't put down. Me. Everyone's salmon. Everyone's salmon. Wait, what was his voice? Everyone's salmon. Let me go, you son of a bitch.